Hey guys, what's going on? It's the 157 Gamer here, and we are back actually looking at the Destiny 2 of the Splicer trailer. I know this is going to be coming out a day late after it's been posted and everyone else has done it, but it's like, I want to sit there and give my input and takes on what we see during the trailer and all, with being not as much of a heavy diehard fan, not so much of a casual player, but more just above casual, but not on the die-hard side of it, just to sit there and see what my opinions would sit there and show it. But anyway, we'll sit there and get right into it. I have already seen the trailer before, so this isn't a reaction. You're not gonna make go, oh my god, what or how? It's just me looking over the trailer, seeing a bit more about it, and probably stopping to do a little bit of talking points in certain times. But no, let's just take a look at what it is. I will already said just really quickly here, the aesthetics they have going for this season is going to look so cool from what I've seen from the show already, with all this type of Tron futuristic simulation. Like,
for the first
it's a
time
lot heavier on the
humanity's
simulation side than what we got with
the sun did not rise. It's a
into
Vex
Forest.
simulation that has plunged the
It is
city into
low-key
an endless
hyping me
night.
because they're
Osiris
pushing
and I
the
can
Vex
only
to be
think of one we
looking
might
more
turn to.
towards
Mithrax.
more towards this synthwave looking place when you're in the areas, because we've got the prophecy dungeon. I know the prophecy dungeon isn't completely to do with Vex or anything, but it is just the fact that, like, the look of it is all very synthwave and all that, and they've seemed to just carry that aesthetic with this season being, oh, you're in a simulation. Let's make it look a lot more of those color schemes. It was nice color schemes. As we can see, we also have Mithrax, so he's coming back into. They're coming back into play from the House of the Light. That's going to be interesting to see what he's going to turn out to be, or if he's going to actually proceed to be in more of it.
He claims to be among the
Babies.
I could only think of one
babies,
we might
because
turn
everyone
to.
seems to be
Mithrax.
going
He
crazy with
claimed
them. Like, motherfucker, there's 4. I only thought there's 3. No, there's another fucker up here. The 3 of the. Damn! Cute that they all have little masks with them as well. That's just adorable in my sense.
seems to be among the last sacred splicers. Those with the power to commune with machines.
So,
Find
we already
him,
know that we're
Guardian,
going to be coming back to
before the Vex do.
Europa. I'm not surprised. I didn't expect a new patrol area for this season. Seems like we're also going to be going back to the Tangled Shore as well.
Once inside, you must find your own way.
So you see, this whole aesthetic here is very synthwave slash it's just a cyan blue, lightish purple, and all. The transmog is going to be interesting because I see a lot of the armor coming back, but sadly some of the armors that people were hyped for aren't coming back with their glows. That's a shame. Ball of Glass from season Destiny 1 is coming back. I can't wait to go running through that. I'll be screaming at my teammates in the Gorgon pit. So, this is a new pistol. Like, don't get me wrong. This thing looks clean. Like, the design of it and all looks so clean. Just the purple lines here, the spinning for charging up the stasis shot, but I don't know if it's just me or if other people have seen it as well. This just really does feel like Devil's Ruin, was it? The beam sidearm, just with its hold the trigger, because I'm going to guarantee it's probably a hold the trigger down or hold X to cause it to do this shot, do its secondary firing mechanism. Because you see, it's a normal firing and then that seems like a charge shot. So that's going to be cool. I'm wondering how it's going to work. How is this going to work in PvP? Like, explain this to me. Is it actually going to freeze targets in PvP? Because a lot of people already hate stasis for the fact that it slows down and freezes people, and you have no way around it. I know we're getting new, all classes are getting new exotic boots. Hunters get one where they end up making their supers more potent while also generating more energy when they consume an orb of light. Warlocks are getting one which allows them to consume their rift to do to create seekers, which is basically just luminosity as a armor piece, which isn't bad because it depends on if it's an instant heal or if it's just a triggers health regen like the luminosity. If it's like luminosity, it's not going to be great. If it's instant heal, where it's like, hey, you're crit, boom, you've got full health. That is going to be an interesting thing, especially for when you're doing trials. Just be able to, okay, it's like, hey, all right, taking my rift. You guys get healed up. You're instant. Come on, go, can finish your fight. And then Titans are again ones that kind of like they're the only ones that somewhat counter stasis in a sense because supposedly stasis does not affect them as much if you're wearing these exotic boots, along with when you do solar elimination. So probably assume that's including weapons and abilities. You get increased damage. They're going to be very lethal to say the least if you rock um solar energy weapons or secondary slot weapons. Machine gun there. Weapons for the season are actually quite clean as well, along with some of the new seasonal finishers. That's new, so that's probably a new aspect that's coming along. Where it's either like, let's see, how did that get created? Like that seems to have been the hop on a kill. They get frozen, they're dead, and then that has generated. So is it going to be that it gets generated on successful stasis kills? So is this going to be a thing that ends up popping during again PvP? And how much damage is it going to do? Because we never saw how much damage that could possibly do. Is that going to be a one-hit throwable melee? Is it going to be a critical throwable melee? What is it? Is it only specific to Titan classes? Because we only saw the Titan throw it. Like it was the Titan that picked it up and threw it at the target. So it's definitely a stasis version of the Javelin Lance from the oh, I've forgotten the name of it. When we went to Mars. I have forgotten the season. Holy fuck. Oh, it wasn't the season. Anyway, you know what I mean, the javelins from when you're dealing with them. I'm glad that they brought back this, but I'm wondering because of the fact that we're actually transmatting to the opening area, is the rest of Venus going to be accessible to explore? They never mentioned that. That could be something that they hide. It could be something that gets opened up after the Bottle of Glass is successfully completed. I wonder if they're actually going to try and tie this in to the story. If it's just like, all right, we're just bringing back this, we're asking for it, and or is it going to be tied in some way in terms of storyline? Like, oh, we have to go in here to check on stuff, which would make sense with it being the season of Splicer and us having to fuck with time once again.
Once inside, you must find your own way.
This is going to be an interesting 6-man event because my biggest thing about it is it looks dope. Like you have this whole starting sequence, you have to sit there and charge the portals, get that all sorted, and then you go in. But I'm going to be so disappointed if this is going to be similar to the Infinite Forest. Because the Infinite Forest did nothing. It didn't do much for any players. Like you can actually see while seconds through some of the older armor sets. There's your Solstice of Heroes, there's your... Is that Leviathan armor or Menagerie? I could be wrong and it could just be season of the oh, you know the season where you had the challenge hall. No, not challenge hall. You know what I'm talking about, because you had the fucking Purged the brig that you had to sit there and go up on and talk to the ship captain to get stuff over. So we actually haven't even seen all the weapons for what it's class. Like, are they bringing back old weapons? Like, I'm assuming this is after the seasonal exotic. We have the 3 seasonal armament exotics, which is the leg possibly, or there could be just guaranteed ones. But are they bringing back Voda Glass's OG weapons? Are they bringing those back? Are they making newer ones for it? Are they bringing back Magnificast? Also, since have them based on that. I know people sat there and probably data mine certain stuff, but the way I sit there and play this game, I've enjoyed this game is I don't look at data mine stuff. I don't sit there and pay attention to leaks or any of that. Well, I'll know about the leaks, but I won't sit there and like actively be like, hey, I want to know about this. So yeah. I just love this shot right here. This shot here, just with all the players lined up perfectly.
Guardian.
Like that's just a clean look. Like, you know, you'll never sit there and get that.
We must slice an entrance to the Vex network.
Well, it's interesting to have another 6-player event where you aren't doing a raid. It's probably going to end up being matchmaking as well.
Once inside, you must find your own way.
Begin that. Mithrax Cicerone says to us is like, he can help us in, but once inside, we must find our own way. So, is this going to be similar to, in terms of, well, I wouldn't even say Presage, because Presage, it was a fixed route, you just end up having to find dialogues. What would be a good way to explain it? Is it similar to the way what people thought the Infinite Forest was going to be, where you basically had to find your path? Wasn't actually meant to be a fixed path that everyone ended up taking. Actually, there we go. The Halloween event. You know, the Halloween event, it just continuously generates out this path. Have your wee branches you can go off. Is that what it's going to be like, where you're having to sit there and find your route, and depending on what you have to definitely take that route, you can go different branches? Or is it just going to be, yeah, it's like Infinite Forest when you always done those Mercury missions where it's just like, hey, linear. Thought that this was going to be completely randomly generated, but you are wrong. It is the most boring shit ever. So, it's hard to speculate. Oh, hold on. That's new. I didn't pay attention the first time. Something shot out of his feet. Because I just realized. Grenade. Was that? Because, I don't know, because that's a larger. That's going to be, that's an aspect. That's a new aspect, because there's no way that's glacial wall. Well, it's obviously going to be the glacial wall grenade, but it's going to be paired with an aspect, because glacial wall is just wall. The only time it's set to inform something odd is if you threw it beside a wall or in a corner where it would have broken out, and then anything on the walls would have just shot around in random directions. That's the only time that will make something natural. That's like a giant AoE, though. Like, that is straight up a circular AoE from where. So that brings up another. How's that going to work in PvP? Like, is that going to freeze? Is that just going to slow? Or are players going to get stuck in that and have to sit there and trigger a dodge, or forcefully use a jump to get out of it? Or what? Because you can see that doesn't trigger him, and then he gets hit by a grenade. He gets hit by a shoulder charge melee. The times are the best at fucking destroying everything. What was that? Again, didn't really catch too much attention. That's a finisher. That's definitely a finisher. Because you can see the enemy just ever so slightly there, yeah. When he pulls it out. So I wonder if that must be one of the new finishers you get for the season. That's that's a new Titan hunter mark that I've seen. That's interesting armor there as well. So there's somewhat the armor, the one I know. I could be wrong. That could be tier 1 stuff. I haven't seen full armor sets at all. I know we've got some insight to what weapons have been placed and all, but
and prepare for battle.
it's interesting. It is interesting. So yeah, I will leave you guys with this little kernel. I'm curious what Season of the Splicer is going to entail. I'm curious how it's going to start. So don't be surprised if you end up seeing a video come out or a live stream coming out on Twitch or YouTube during the closing ceremony event, because I've heard rumors that there's meant to be something that's kicking off then since of then. But anyway, I have been the 157 Gamer. This has been just how we look at the Destiny 2
This
Season
morning,
Splicer
for
trailer.
the first time in
I will
humanity's
leave you
long
guys
and
to watch this
storied
trailer
history,
once again
the
without
sun
my
did not rise.
input over it.
It's a vex
I hope you
simulation
guys
that
have a
has
nice day.
plunged the city into
Bye.
an endless night. Osiris and I could only think of one we might turn to. Mithrax. He claims to be among the last sacred splicers. Those with the power to commune with machines. Find him, Guardian. Before the Vex do.
We must splice an entrance to the Vex network. I can guide you, but I cannot follow. Once inside, you must find your own way.